this new Avicii album, Tim. It's it's okay. It's okay, I guess. Okay, actual review, I guess. So I got a lot of requests to talk about this, presumably because of Avicii's unfortunate passing last year to suicide. The guy's music touched a lot of people, and his death was completely shocking to everyone. And we now have this posthumous album that fleshes out a bunch of demos he had left over before he died. And yeah, I really did not want to talk about this album or talk about Avicii anymore in general. Because, let's not mince words, I'm well documented as not liking Avicii's music. And I still don't. One guy even tried to buy a review request for True on my Patreon page, and I just straight up told him no and let him decline payment. Because I really would not feel right going in depth on this album that I initially disliked so much that it was part of what made me want to become a reviewer, and then present that to all his fans still mourning his loss. Yeah, that would have gone over real great. I don't get why I thought it was okay to cover this in a video, but whatever. Landon Remixes did thankfully make a review of True that handled that better than I would have, so I'll link that video in the description. But, I guess since I'm here, I may as well recap some of my thoughts on his music. Not gonna sugarcoat anything. Now, first of all, don't get me wrong. He does have tracks that I really like here and there. I still think Hey Brother is great. Stories has a decent handful of good tracks like Talk to Myself, Touch Me, and 10 More Days. Maybe there's an obscure single or two like My Feelings for You that's pretty cool, but that's about it. I really did not like Levels because I was a fan of the Pretty Lights track, Finally Moving, which used the same Etta James sample like 5 years prior. Levels always came off to me like a really generic and watered-down remix of that to me, even if I know a lot of people really loved it. I still think his debut album, True, is okay at best, like in the mid-low 5 range if I'm generous. While an ambitious mix of EDM and country and folk that he could call his own, and I can certainly appreciate for its inventiveness and treading then unproven ground, the experience was mostly ruined by overly treble-heavy production and not helped by one particularly high-pitched synth setting that he liked using, which got excessively grating. And he did have a self-remix album called True Avicii by Avicii, which refocused the album on the electronic side of his production and improved some tracks in the process. I did enjoy these versions of Wake Me Up and Shame on Me notably more, for instance, but I wasn't exactly mind-blown by any of it. It's all decent, but that's it. I know one guy in the comments was asking me about that a lot before Avicii's passing. So that's my mini review of that. All of my previously expressed opinions on this guy's music from other videos still stand. As awkward as they may be now, I am not going to sit here and say that his passing magically made me like his stuff. That would be really dishonest, and I don't want to be that guy. There was almost no chance of me actually enjoying a posthumous album from Avicii, not only because of my previous opinions, but also because I don't really tend to like posthumous albums like these in the first place. Major labels making big bucks off of someone's death kind of grosses me out. Even if all the proceeds go towards charity, that's cool, but, I'd rather donate to the charity directly. I didn't even consider the idea of making a video on this until I saw a heart upon my sleeve featuring Imagine Dragons in the track listing. That is the reason this video exists. That seriously pissed me off. You took the single instrumental track from True, one of the better ones from there in my opinion, and you shoehorned in Dan Reynolds. Who actually asked for that? Did Avicii specifically ask for one of his already released album tracks, the ending of his first album, no less, to be re-released and more clickbaitified by adding in Imagine Dragons? What? Really? Yeah, get out of my face with this Universal music. Get out of here. Ugh. But okay, I did listen to the rest of this album, and like I said before, it's fine. It's okay. It's inoffensive outside of that one track. There were actually 2 tracks on here I kinda liked. I mean, the opener, Peace of Mind, that was actually pretty dang well produced. The lyrics constantly talking about needing a release are pretty uncomfortable when you know what would come for him, but at least in a good way, I guess. I also thought the closer, Fades Away, was pretty decent with all of its orchestral sounds. The rest, whatever. There were a lot of drops where things just stopped the momentum did, and I didn't care for. Mark from Spectrum Pulse already talked about the track Heaven the other day, having lyrics that were probably originally intended to be metaphorical about starting over, but being made more literally about his death. It doesn't really work. There were a couple of tracks that bordered on trend chasing, like Bad Reputation being all tropical house-ish. Excuse Me, Mr. Sir was like a not as good 10 More Days. There were a lot of really generic sounding cuts that offer like nothing for me to discuss, and yeah, that's it really. On the whole, big surprise, I did not really care for this album, but I'm sure it's going to resonate with his core fan base and give them more of the closure they wanted out of Avicii's life and career getting cut off so short. For those people, it could be like the way I now feel about Robert Miles' Dreamland. Like, that album used to be at the bottom of my favorites of all time list when I made that in 2016, but after his passing, it got so emotionally charged that that album's probably in my top 20 or even top 10 at this point. So I can see that happening with True, and this posthumous album helping those fans deal with his passing more. But as someone who wasn't a fan of his to begin with, it was never gonna do that for me. So yeah, you fans will enjoy it. I'll leave it at that. For me, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to add. I do not plan on making any more videos about Avicii ever again, and yeah, bye.